So today I have a very special guest. It is JJ Rodriguez, an OG Giraffe Tower holder and the founder of the Parent Club. Today we're going to speak about his mission of empowering entrepreneurial parents that are reclaiming their time and not being slaves to the corporate clock. But of course, this is a Web3 show, so we're going to speak about how he's using social tokens to advance this mission. And lastly, how he's onboarding parents that are not familiar with Web3, they don't own any NFTs or crypto. However, he's making this easy for them to adopt this technology. Hello, I'm Taj, digitally known as Tropic Vibes, the host of Nifty Business, where we highlight NFTs and explore Web 3.0 as we move from pure speculation to creating real-world value. So before I dive into the conversation with JJ, I just want to say really quick that I'm getting ready to relaunch the Nifty Business Week newsletter. Over the last year and a half or so, I've been trying different formats as to how this newsletter should roll out. Now that I have a clearer vision as to what I want the newsletter to be and how I want to structure the content, I'm getting ready to relaunch that. So if you're not signed up for that, you can get that for absolutely free at niftybusinessweek.com. And as usual, I'm open to feedback and suggestions as how you'd like this content to be structured. But I realized I create a lot of original content that you probably don't even see. So rather than relying on Twitter and all these different platforms and their ever-changing algorithms, I realized I can leverage the content that I'm already creating and position it in a way that adds value to you. So rather than throwing more information at you, this can be a great way to get the things that are most important to you in a very condensed fashion. And again, you can sign up for that for absolutely free at niftybusinessweek.com. But without further ado, let's get to that conversation with JJ. In the studio today with JJ Rodriguez. I met him when I interviewed Gary Henderson on episode 491 with Giraffe Towers and everything that was going on over there with Gary. And JJ was one of the people that is involved with that. And I was fortunate to meet him and have some conversations with him. So I'm very honored that you'd come on to the show today. So I want to thank you.
Hey, thank you, Tropic. It's a pleasure of mine. Just real quick, this is my first guesting on a podcast in this lane. So I thank you for the opportunity and super stoked to be here.
When I see someone like yourself who has a worthwhile mission, you're doing some amazing things, that it's just really easy to have a conversation with someone like you. So I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. I think that's really part of the mission is being able to have your vision and be able to communicate it effectively. And that's how you're able to establish relationships, build relationships, and really build community around that.
And speaking of community, as I said, I met you through Club Gary and Giraffe Tower. So what was it like getting involved with that community and how it helped you to basically do what you're doing right now?
Great question. And this is like my genesis story in Web3, right? I was born and raised in New York City. I went to college at Binghamton University. And back in 2012, I moved to Delaware and I was making probably $29,000 a year. And what I did is I consider myself to be a professional job hopper. And so what I did was put my resumes out and was able to climb the corporate ladder, so to speak, and be a definition of success as we've been conditioned or programmed for that to look like as far as getting a college degree, buying a house, and buying a car and all of this. And what I noticed was my time wasn't mine. And this became super evident around 2018. I was not even 30 years old. I was making over six figures, about $106,000 a year in a career. But then my oldest son was born and he wasn't even 24 hours old. And I was taken away from him, having to go and report to my supervisor for something that happened to work. And I was robbed probably 3 hours or so of my son's first 24 hours. And I remember driving back to the hospital and crying and telling myself, like, this is not it. Like, I'm making good money. I have a house, I have a car, but this is not it. Couldn't be there to support my wife, couldn't be there to support my son. And I made a vow right then and there that I need to change things up. During this time, my wife and I, we started investing in real estate. So we own a couple of doors. And what we did in July of 2018 was we made a commitment to each other that I was going to get out the 9 to 5. And so come May 2021, May in 2021, I end up leaving the 9 to 5. I put in my resignation, and I job hopped in between there before then, but I put in my resignation and I started my journey of being a full-time entrepreneur. And this was super exciting because my wife was already in full-time entrepreneur. She's a real estate agent, and I joined her in that capacity. So we own real estate investments. We're both realtors. Then we started a franchise business, or we jumped into a franchise business. It's called Card My Yard, and we put celebratory signs in people's yards. So at this moment, my mindset shift that I understand that I have to work and I have to grind and I have to hustle and maybe get side gigs. Like even now, like I'll DoorDash once in a while just to get cash into my pocket for the family. But I can do so on my time. I don't have to ask permission from a supervisor to request time off if I want to go to my son's baseball game. I don't have to make up excuses that I'm quote unquote sick because you didn't approve my PTO. And so I'm in control of my time, and we're building businesses and we're raising our family on our terms. And the difference is, or what was weird during this time, the energy was weird, is that I didn't have any family or friends really who are familiar or who shared their journey entrepreneurial. I turned to my family, I turned to friends, to college buddies, and there was a disconnect relating to an entrepreneur journey. And so, lo and behold, it's the middle of the pandemic, and Clubhouse is doing killer numbers as far as being an app, a social audio app during the pandemic where people came together and share information and build relationships and things like that. And so I opened up the app, and at the time there was a lot of energy behind entrepreneurs, like coaching entrepreneurs. And I came across Gary Henderson's share, and it's been history since. And so I say all that to say, I heard an opportunity that Gary had. He put out an offer. I accepted the offer. And this was probably he dropped his coin in March, and I got involved with him probably around May and June of that same year, and it snowballed. I'm a firm believer that I rather learn from someone who has expertise in an area to help me get there faster rather than me trying to figure it out. And I'll still figure it out. I'll go to YouTube University and I'll hire coaches, but really putting myself around people who know what they're doing. So in a time where I made up my mind for my family that we were going to be full-time entrepreneurs and we were going to make that work, and that was going to be our plan A, and our plan B was to make that plan A work by any means necessary. And but there was a void of a coach, of leadership, of direction, of expertise, but most importantly community. And what Gary was able to do through his offer and using his expertise was to take us through a journey and build community around creators who like to make money. And it took me a while to accept the fact that I'm a creator, but I interchange that in my mind. I'm a creator, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a person, I'm a human being. And like, no matter what you categorize under creator, this big brother term, I like to make money, and I've made decisions and I've made plans and put things into place to certify that and to make that a reality. And Gary came in, helped us out big time with coaching, and we took a journey together as he decided to play in Web3 and figure that out. I was in close proximity through my coaching to go ahead and have opportunity shared to me. And you fast forward that we're going through it together, opportunity presented itself, and now my wife and I, we are the founders of the parentclub.io, and we're building a tokenized community to help parents who are paving their own paths when it comes to raising family and building business on their own terms. And that wasn't my intent when I quit my 9 to 5, but through my journey, that's where it's evolved to. And it's a passion that I share deeply because it's been community that's kept me going and it's getting me far along that journey. So I know I went long winded there in our rant, and I'll keep the future answers much shorter, but I just wanted to speak from the heart there.
No, it's really awesome. It's funny because How I came into the whole Web3 thing too was also through audio, right? It was first a podcast, and I ran back to Clubhouse and started jumping in those and got involved. So I can really relate to a lot of that. And one of the things that when I listen to a lot of these founders shows and business podcasts and what have you, is it always strikes me as so amazing that so many people start their entrepreneurial journey when they have a child. It's that is the tipping point for, I can't tell you how many I've heard that was it. Like that really kicked it off. Like some of these people were party animals and they're just completely out there. Then they have a child, boom. Next thing you know, they have a 6-figure business in no time. It's really interesting. So you also touched on the fact that entrepreneurship is a lonely journey, and the fact that there is not many people around you. And a lot of people can relate to that, because even with people that listen to this show that are trying to start their Web3 business and their journey, they don't really have anyone to speak to other than Twitter Spaces, and they listen to podcasts, and it could be a lonely place. But you tied it all together with that. You found your community with Gary and the Giraffe Towers and everything. And it's not just a buzzword, because a lot of people say community just to sell more tokens. But from what you're saying and the description and everything that you've all gelled together, this community is something that really has legs. And it's now something that you're also trying to build yourself. With the Parent Club, what exactly are you trying to do for the parents, other parents, and how are you bringing those lessons that you learned together now?
What we want to do is we want to be that hub, that center, that club for parents who have kids, no matter what age they're, but there's a disconnect from how they're currently making money, for example, maybe in a 9 to 5, or maybe parents who have just started their entrepreneurial journey, or it may be seasoned parents who are killing it in entrepreneurship. What we want to do is bring all parents who are entrepreneurs and seeking entrepreneurship together, so we can network, so we can relate to each other, so we can help each other, provide resources and collaboration. It's super important that you move with community of like-minded individuals. And being a parent within itself, it's a mission. And then you juggle that with building and maintaining businesses, whether in real life, like brick and mortar, or that are geographical restricted or needed, or if it's something that's like you're a digital entrepreneur making digital content, digital resources. But all that to say, we want to bring this group of people, these parents who know what it is to no, there's no, and you said it, Tropic, you said it, like a lot of people's journeys were sparked when the kids came into play. And there's, for a lot of my experience, there's that drive or hunger that comes when you know that you have a family to support. And so not everyone can relate there. That's what we're focusing on. Bring together, build a community of parents who are learning or executing entrepreneurship, so we can give to each other, relate to each other, support each other, collab with each other, most importantly, make money with each other, but not forget the next parent who is just having that light bulb go off, that they have their kid and maybe the time that they thought that they can spend with their kid is not in alignment with whatever corporate structure they may be in. We really want to encourage parents. My wife and I, we're nothing special. We're ordinary, but what we do have is a clear vision of knowing that our family comes first, and there's not going to be any 9 to 5 that's going to come and take that away from us. And speaking on that, I know dads personally from college who we're all having kids. I have a 5-year-old and a 2.5-year-old, Everest and Elias. And like I have friends who have kids the same age, and they're not as present or active with important memories that are developed early on. Like I had the privilege, and I'm super grateful to have been blessed that because I'm on my journey, on my path that I'm in now, I was able to coach my oldest son's T-ball baseball team like last season. Like I was able to put my hand up in the air, volunteer myself because I can make the time work because I'm in control of my time. I still gotta work, I still gotta grind, but I'm in control of when that starts and when that ends. And my family was a priority. So practices and game days, like nothing could have gotten in front of my schedule or on my schedule to take me away from that. And it was to build those important experiences and memories that I hope that my son will be super proud of as he grows.
One of the things that you hit on that really resonates, because you said it in two different ways, but basically the importance of time and time freedom. Because when you initially started speaking about getting coaching and getting involved, you knew that basically you're going to either pay with time and learning the stuff on your own and making all your mistakes, or you're going to get coaching from someone who's already done it. So it's very interesting that also within your community that you're building with the parents, there's people on different levels of the journey. So whether they made mistakes along the way or they're just starting out their journey, there is that connection piece that is pretty interesting in there. And it's unique because the whole entrepreneurial journey, just everything that's going on, of course, the benefit of it is that you do have your time. And to be able to leverage that as a community now is very interesting to me. So the question I have, though, with this coin that you have, the parent coin, how does that work within the community? How is that the glue, or I should say, or the bond of what's going on in your ecosystem, your world?
So this is when it gets fun, right? So we're building businesses in real life and quote unquote Web 2. And as a realtor, I have to go show properties, and I'm stuck to the state of Delaware to do that. And the same thing with the card signs. But being able to jump into Web 3 and build a tokenized community is we're using it to gamify the community experience and to also provide utility at different holds for one-off experiences, right? So, for example, if you come into our community, all parents or all entrepreneurs are welcome, but then you get yourself on a path to hold at least one parent coin, and then more content is now and utility in channels are now available for you. You start to unlock, and the more coin you're able to hold unlocks more utility. So, for example, we're working on putting together a library and like this learning center. And what we're dumping in there are different courses and different resources and different ebooks that can help any parent along their path of entrepreneurship. Tapping into the time management, to the mindset, to the planning, and to execution, right? And whereas in a Web 2 kind of environment, I could have maybe built a membership site. And with this membership site, charge $20 a month or what have you. But then times come along and cancellations start to happen. And it just mixes up. It becomes weird energy at that point. Are they canceling? They now don't have access to the content, to the community. You're unable to make the payment this month. Like now you're going to have to unfortunately exit the community. That's weird, right? What we're trying to build here are meaningful and impactful for relationships. So at a hold of a bag of parent coin, right? This content becomes yours and you're able to consume it at your leisure. You're able to implement it at your leisure. You're able to participate at your pace. And we know as parents, life happens and things come, and we may have to focus on maybe a family vacation that's coming up, or God forbid, a dental procedure or something like that, right? So by holding coin and making it tokenized in Web 3, what ultimately happens is that as the parent, you grab your bag, you participate, and you're able to leverage that and gain the resources. And then if there ever becomes a time that it's not a fit, or you grow on and you're on to the next season in your life, you can sell your coin at that point and exit without that weird energy. So we want to use our coin to unite our community, make it fun. What we want to do is build an ecosystem. It's easy, for example, or will be easy to do a collaboration with a guest speaker and do a one-off and say we have this figure who's going to come in and teach us about time management, or we're going to have someone give us a talk on the logistics of building a business, or whatever the community is seeking at that time. We can bring in a special guest and we can say, all right, to attend this mastermind, so to speak, it's going to be a one-time payment, and we'll be able to use our coin. And there's going to be different ways to earn coin. I'll give everyone their first coin so they can join our community, and we have engaged to earn mechanisms building with Gary and Social Connector that we're able to implement. But most importantly, again, building a Web3 tokenized community. It's different. And I have a dream, I have a vision that not in the too distant future that I'm able to, for example, open up a daycare here or anywhere and be able to use my currency, the parent coin, either transactional or as a hold utility for daycare services, and then using the back end of replicating what will be loyalty points or reward points that you can then leverage back in like the ecosystem, if that makes sense, whether it's other daycare services or whether it's coming in to one-off mastermind about how to hire the perfect babysitter that can be a super stress of trusting someone brand new that's not family to come in to the sacred space and provide care for our children. And if we want a professional approach to how to hire the best and perfect babysitter, we can have fun at that time. But we really want to provide community and an ecosystem for parents to lean in on each other and for all of us to grow together.
It's pretty interesting because within the space, there is a lot of different opinions. A lot of people would say this token sounds very much like an NFT. But at the same time, what you're doing is you're allowing people to come in and get a free one to get started. And then they can build up, and based on the amount that they have, it unlocks certain things. So that's very interesting. It has utility, unlike some meme coin or something that pops up where people are just speculating. With this, you're unlocking utility like you would by holding an NFT that would unlock various events and discords and so forth. But with this, you're doing this through this coin, and it all starts off with one that you're giving people away for free, which is very interesting to me. So how does the onboarding process go? So someone might be listening to this and say, you know what, this sounds very interesting. I want to get involved with what JJ's building here and with this parent club because it really strikes a chord with me. What would their next step do? What would they have to do to get involved?
Yeah, that's a great question. And before I go into the onboarding, you said something, the difference between the coin and NFT. And just to bring it back full circle is working with Gary and being a giraffe, an OG giraffe, and being a builder within the ecosystem. It's super fun because we have now the ability to drop digital collectibles and my mind is all over the place with this. This is why it's so fun. It's so innovative because on one hand, I can say, all right, I want to document on the blockchain certain achievements of my son, or maybe their report cards, or maybe their artwork, right? We think digital collectibles and there's a strong tie with artwork. So my oldest son just finished pre-K a couple weeks ago, and we have all of his artwork that he did through the year, and I can easily go now and take pictures and create digital collectibles and have that forever marked on the Solana blockchain because that's where we build. So I thought that was super fun, a fun idea. And then another idea that we have with these digital collectibles is that we can make them soul bound, which means that they cannot leave the wallet that they get sent to. And it becomes an interesting play because yeah, we have parent coin, the parent token, but we can also create like a membership card, like a VIP parent club card, and it'll be a representation, for example, of a membership card. And there's a lot of fun that we can do with that, like stack utility on top of utility. So there's a lot of ways that we can have fun with this and forget about it, the implications, what my dream of implementing this in a daycare one day, right? But the onboarding process right now for anyone listening, parents, entrepreneurs, is really simple. And that's why with Social Connector and as a OG Giraffe is this SaaS that we have access to. And Tropic, I know you've had a couple episodes that you've touched upon this, the SaaS particularly, and then the interview with Gary. Ultimately, what I'm able to do, if everyone and anyone wants to visit us at theparentclub.io, and you just spell the parentclub.io. There's going to be a button on the top right corner that says get your first parent coin and get free parent coin. And then that takes you to a simple Google form where you enter your name and your email address. And then it's as simple as that. You hit submit that form. And what we do on the back end is we'll email you your first token to your social connector wallet. If you don't have a social connector wallet, part of that onboarding process helps you go through the steps to create your wallet. And once your wallet is either created beforehand or during the onboarding process, your parent coin is there waiting for you. And then you go into a social connector, you can link your Discord username, for example. You can also link Twitter and a couple of other platforms. But you link your Discord and then you come check us out in Discord, and then you'll be greeted and welcomed into our community, and you'll automatically gain the role of having a parent coin, and that begins the journey and it unlocks certain utility right off the jump. Best way to do that is go ahead and go to theparentclub.io. Click the button on the top right corner, enter your information, your email address, your name, and then it's as easy as my sons like to say, easy peasy, lemon squeezy.
Awesome. Easy as that. That sounds great. And the beautiful thing about this is, even if someone is not familiar with Web3, they have no tech inclination to get involved with all this stuff, with seed phrases and what have you, they can just use their email address, use that wonderful thing, and just an easy onboarding. So I think it's great, everything that's being built, not only with the social connector and that software itself, but how now communities such as parents that might not be Web3 degens can use the technology and see the benefit of it. And you don't have to explain all the tech and Solana and all that stuff to them. It's just, want to get involved with parents? Come on over. And I think that's just a great ask. So I really appreciate it. This was a very interesting conversation, and all the amazing things that are doing here. I am really excited to see where this goes, and I am just really fortunate, and I want to thank you for coming on the show.
Hey, again, Tropic, thank you. This has been a super blessing. I'm super grateful for you. This is officially my first podcast as a builder in Web3, and I'm just grateful for the opportunity. I've been able to overcome certain limiting beliefs, and I'm forever grateful, and I appreciate you and your time, and I just wish you a blessed day, and I'm super stoked for us to continue our relationship and continue to build together and learn from each other and make the positive impact for our communities. I'll just end with this. At the end of the day, our journey is nothing different. We're parents, we're trying to own our time. We want to make profits along the way, and we're just open-minded to different opportunities. So for anyone out there who may be on the fence, just surround yourself with like-minded individuals, with community. Tap into Tropic. What he's been able to do here on his platform is gold, and really just tap in and don't be afraid to seize opportunity. You never know where it will take you, and just know at the Parent Club, you definitely have a community rooting for you and your family. So just wishing everyone blessings.
So if you find this interesting and would love to connect with JJ, the links will be in the show notes as far as his Twitter page, but most importantly, theparentclub.io. All the information will be there, so you can check that out, get your free parent token, connect with JJ, or ask questions about how he's using this technology to advance his mission. But as usual, I just want to thank you for taking the time to listen to this as we're learning and building Web3 together. Until next time, later. The Nifty Business Arrow is not investment advice. It provides insights and information within the space. As with anything, please do your own research before making a decision whether you're making an investment or a purchase.